To our first point of discussion today now, the federal government is set to invest and focus attention more on natural gas exploration in the country. Enactment of the PIA was an indication of government's commitment to derive more value, of course, from natural gas by providing the required governance, regulatory, and fiscal framework to support the industry's growth. Let's talk more about developments in this space and what's been happening. It's been a while we had him in the studio, but he's here live. The president, Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers, Mr. Olatubosun Oladapo. Good afternoon. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good afternoon, Tolu.
Yes. I'd like us to start with, bring us up to speed with developments in the sector. I know it's been a while we had you in. There's been price flip-flop. It went up, it came down. What's been happening in the market before we now pick up some very salient issues?
Well, the market has been very volatile. Generally, the demand is low because the purchasing power of Nigeria is actually on a low level. And supply is relatively steady, but not very sufficient. We still struggle to meet with the local supply, and an occasional importation is being done into the country. I'm talking about LPG this time around. So by and large, it has been a stable market, and consumers are coming to plants to fill. They are getting their gas to buy. However, what we see is that people now refill with a lower amount of kg, perhaps because of their purse that is ridiculously low, which has been eroded by inflation, the exchange rate challenges, and income that is not really growing. But we believe it's a temporary issue. By the time everything is fixed economically, we should be able to come back to the right perspective and the right level that we're supposed to operate. We are looking on to possibility of an improvement in supply and at the same time stability in the pricing so that the last consumer also could enjoy. But currently now, it's a little bit tough.
A little bit tough. Are you one of those that believe that the gas or use of gas could one way or the other help address this challenge with PMS?
Excellently, the use of gas can solve a lot of problems. Let us move away from domestic use. Let's look at national level. You will agree with me that one of the beautiful pronouncements of this current government was the creation of a minister of state for gas, so that they have a focus on how they can use gas as a way to ameliorate the challenges Nigeria is facing. There are a lot of potentials in gas in terms of deposits, exploration, and possibility of making good revenue for the country. So if we actually exploit it and we increase our outputs and we make sure that we sell gas, both in domestic and other natural gases, to people that I need them all over the world, Europe and other parts, all the rest, we are going to make huge foreign exchange. There. That will solve a lot of problems Nigeria is facing. Currently now, so the short supply of foreign exchange is part of the challenges we are having with our exchange rate. If we have adequate supply, the Naira will appreciate more. Gas can actually take us to that level. We have abundant deposits of gas in the country. What we are lacking is ability to exploit it into a form that we can transform into cash. So if we invest in exploration and we are able to exploit the deposit we have, we process it, turn it to money, it will solve a problem. The potential in gas is far more than what is in crude oil. So I'm an absolute believer in the ability of gas to solve Nigerian problem. Once we have the right direction and the right leadership, gas will definitely assist us.
But you would agree with me that it is not cheap. That is what some people are saying. Gas infrastructure is not cheap. And at the time we heard of this gas expansion plan, I don't know if that is gone now, or where is that money? Where is the money? Because we heard about that, I think in collaboration with the central bank.
Yes.
About 250 billion naira at that time.
Yes. There's a difference between allocating and utilizing. 250 billion was actually allocated, but how much was drawn down in terms of disbursements? And I think with the kind of ministry we have now, we have a Minister of State that the President has scheduled with responsibility of looking to gas. They will ensure that there's adequate disbursement of this money. You can apply. What of it is not disbursed? out of that 250 billion, how much has actually been disbursed? But if we improve on that now, and the kind of infrastructure gap in gas, 250 billion cannot meet it all. And the development we need in gas is not only solely responsibility of government. The private investors, both locally and foreign, need to be very active. They have roles to play. We need to woo investors into this country. I keep on telling people that if this country can have about three types of NLNG, our problem will be 50% solved. NLNG have been wonderfully doing well with their years of existence, over 30 years. The structure assists them. If we have a replica of that size, creating structure of such, because government has no business in business. So the structure has to be very enduring, that avoid undue interference, and the corporate governance are strictly adhered to. So, and that is the structure that is working for NLNG.
Because I wanted to ask you that what is that structure?
That is the structure.
That is saying the NLNG structure is working.
It's working. The structure that's working for NLNG is the proper corporate governance structure. Dilution of ownership is not solely owned by federal government of Nigeria. There are other foreign owners and there are companies like that they have the guidelines, the policies, and they are strict to it. You will see they perform wonderfully well. So if we have something like that, then perhaps if we had refinery were to be in that structure, maybe we'll not be where we are. So if we want to invest, we want to exploit, we should be able to make sure the way we plan out our map out our investment guidelines. So government only need to provide the enabling environment, relevant legislation, and necessary support to encourage investors, both sovereign investors and individual investors, private investors, that can come together, put their resources, and put, this kind of gigantic project there, then it will be useful for us. So if we can get enough fund for that infrastructure, coming back to your issue, it is not solely government to raise that money because it's expensive.
Yes.
But the private sector, it returns. Because if you invest, you get the return on it. We have the deposit. We are ninth in the world. So therefore, if you explain very well, you are going to make a lot of money. So I believe the new minister will do a lot in that perspective. And that's also part of his KPI, to make sure that the exploration and the investor comes in. By the time we start exporting gas, natural gas, out of this country in a large quantity, then we will realize a lot of foreign earnings. We will create more jobs. We will create opportunities. Then we must also defend the local markets, because the local market is very essential. When you are looking at any foreign exchange, but you are not developing your local market, it creates another problem. Currently, now, local market is also sovereign. We have population of 230 million, approximately, just to say 230 million. What is the level of our utilization level? It's very ridiculously low. Currently, now Nigeria's total utilization is about 1 million metric tons per annum. But when you compare to other countries of the world, even in Africa, Morocco, Egypt, Algeria, to surprise you, even Benin Republic, the quantum of LPG they consume far more than what we consume here. LPG remains a luxury good in Nigeria, but in developed world and other parts of Africa, it's a common good. You go to village, they cook with it. But it's only in the city you see people cooking with LPG here in Nigeria. So if everybody should embrace, with that kind number of population we are having, then we must also find a way to build the local supply. Because the current production of 750 metric tons locally can never meet the need of 230 million people. Why the gap has not been so significant now is because utilization level is very low. If we are saying decade of gas, we are encouraging people to use gas. We must also plan to make gas available. Otherwise, by the time everybody embrace gas, we have to take the money again to import gas into the country. That's not be good for us.
We still import.
That's not good for us. We import to supplement. Even at a low level now, low level utilization, we still import. The total consumption is about 900 metric tons currently. And the total production in Nigeria now is about 750. So there's a gap of 250. And that's why importation comes to supplement it. It fluctuates. Occasionally it can go, it depends on the purchasing power of people. So if we say everybody should come into the net, utilize LPG, utilize CNG, utilize all forms of gas, we must also plan how to meet local supply. Otherwise, by the time everybody switch over, then we will have problem of supply. Then we have to start importing. God forbid. That would be terrible for us. We'll be making money and be throwing it out. And a repeat of what we are experiencing with the PMS and AGO, petroleum product, should not happen to us again. So as we are planning for expansion, we must also planning for exploration. Couple of corporate companies are coming to Nigeria now.
Yes.
Recently, the president welcomed some people that want to invest. We should encourage them. My advice is that they should put all the machinery in place so that we can, in the next 4 or 5 years, let us have 2 of NLNG in Nigeria. Big size like that, with that kind of capacity, and moving to business. The gas is there. By the time they start exploring and exporting, it takes time, but on the long run, we will last. The economy will significantly improve because we are going to earn substantially from there in terms of foreign exchange. And that will give a lot of weight to our naira. Yes. It will improve a lot of things. But if we fail to plan now, we can never be there. So the planning starts now. And that commences with what the giant step Mr. President has taken by appointing a minister to look into that. His planning starts now. Yes,
because some people have argued that that could actually cause some issues. You have a minister for oil, minister for gas. But some say with a government that really wants to focus on gas development, it is apt to have that minister. What would you say, or what would be your direct message, or maybe advice to this new minister?
No,
for the sector.
The right thing has been done.
Good.
When it was combined, crude oil overshadowed gas.
Yeah, oh, of course. Because that's easy.
Unfortunately, the potentials in gas is far more than what is in crude oil.
We keep flaring.
In exploration, before you get to where crude oil is, you will have met gas on the way. Yes. But what do? We fly it, looking for the black gold. Yes. But the gas you are moving on the way is also diamond. It's money. But now that we realize that opportunity now, there's nothing wrong in having a special minister for that. Yes. Because it's enormous. It's a lot of planning. It involves a lot of planning. And we must go to the drawing table and start planning now. We may not see the effect of all this planning now. It may take 4 or 5 years because it starts a gestation period for you to yield result. But the next 5 years, if all plans were acted according to the script, then we will laugh. Because we will have generated sufficient revenue. We will have encouraged a lot to use gas. And we will have seen the potential in gas. I think there was one former American president that visited us, and he said the opportunity in gas in Nigeria is enough to feed us.
I agree.
That is what this current president has seen.
And unproven reserves.
This have. So that's what they've seen. The potential in gas is enormous. But all we need to do is adequate planning and good corporate governance for all the structures. Because experience has shown what belongs to everybody belongs to no one. Government business in this part of the world is nobody's business. So the corporate structure, the corporate governance of all the institutions must be well defined so that the so-called Nigerian factor will not come in. If we are sincere with it and we dedicate to it and we focus it, we are going to uplift this economy. So the potential in gas is enormous. I so believe in that. But it requires a lot of planning and sincerity.
I know before now we've talked about issues around taxation, some tax issues that you were facing as marketers and some other contending issues. I'd like us to look back at those ones and how well are you faring with them? How are your members coping?
Well, the issue of taxation now, the recent development in the market has actually not making too relevant now because government is coming with different dimensions to solve a lot of problems. And in fairness to this government, they are trying to make sure that there are some overheads that they are dropping so that the price can be better for people.
Wow.
So what we only need to advise is some of the agencies of government to also adopt that so that there won't be double taxation. In terms of VAT, I think the federal government has a little bit relaxed on that. You quite agree with me that they are pronouncing that there are going to be no VAT on AGO.
Yeah.
This is kind of a way to make sure the landing cost and eventual price to the consumer are better. So effect has actually improved from that one. But the only thing is that government agencies to ensure that they carry out those things and ensure that there are no double tax, so that it will not lay more burden on the public in terms of implicit cost.
That cost, yes. Let me ride on that. Cost is what I'm thinking. What in the nearest future, like you said, if everything is properly acted, scraped, everything is properly worked on, are you saying that we were most likely to buy at a more affordable rate? Pricing is what Nigerians would also, because you see some gas cylinders now, they're selling I don't know if I'll call it a carburetor, but you can change it that it now uses gas.
Yes.
So, and people are buying it, people are using it. So what the worry now will be pricing. How affordable will it be that I can definitely want to convert my car to wanting to use CNG and use gas, of course, in home?
There are a lot of campaigning going on and encouragement that you can switch over from your PMS into use of gas. And I'm telling you that it's not only CNG that you can use LPG.
LPG too. That's true.
You use LPG to power your generator at home.
Yes.
The same LPG can also power tricycle in other countries.
Wow.
Not necessarily CNG. CNG is under high pressure, higher than LPG. It's virtually the same gas, but the pressurization is quite different. And that is why CNG is stored in a special tank. The thickness of that plate is quite higher than that of LPG. CNG is mostly moved in pipelines. LPG can be transferred in bottles. So what we are saying is that a lot of campaigning is going. People can convert to use of LPG. Generators at homes are using LPG now, and some conversions are going to come. While we are doing that campaigning, we must also work on supply. Because my fear is by the time everybody embraces it, we must not cry that the product is not available again. And once there's scarcity, then the price becomes out of reach.
Exactly.
Because it's a capitalist economy, it's a free market, so people take advantage of that. So if we are planning, we also plan towards supply. And that the people in the authorities will also have a roadmap how to improve on our supply. And that's what we just said. The only way for us to improve on our supply is to improve on our exploration. It may not be immediate, because if the demand grows suddenly, then we have to resort into importation. But importation will not be very good for our economy. There's nothing as good as domesticating our consumption.
Okay.
When you domesticate your consumption, you don't need to take your money to other countries. It strengthens your naira, it creates more job for you, and that is the icing in the cake. I mean, the icing on the cake that we should look after. So the campaign is on, gas decade is on, conversion is on, it's all good. So at my level of my association, what we are doing to do is to find local infrastructure. A lot of gas plants are now redesigning their plants.
Yeah.
We are meeting with the member, educating them. That's what we call co-location. How you can co-locate your plants, that you have opportunity for CNG, you have opportunity for LPG. And it has a lot of design that has to be approved with the authority. So that's what are going on that. The authority has taken us, they are taking us through on how to do that kind of co-location to the standard, and taking cognizant all the security challenges, so that the securities and the safety issues,
it's very important.
Safety issues will be taken care of. I think we will be there, and we are going to that direction. In a couple of months to come, you'll be seeing modern gas plants. There are some. We have a member in Abuja that has done something fantastic. A lot of other countries is coming up, where you see a gas plant that you can actually do one stop to do all complete shopping. You have your LPG, you have your CNG, wow. You can drive in your tricycle and you fill.
Wow.
So, and the authority is also working on a template that ensure safety of the workers and people that are coming to fill. So gradually, we embrace all that. recently, now NLPC is also working with the federal government, with the NIPCO and other people.
There's a lot of collaboration. Everybody's collaborating.
There's collaboration there. So we just need to get it well, understand the dynamics. The authority, mid and downstream authority, are also working on the templates to make sure that it makes life so easy for people, and our members are also being given kind of awareness. I believe we get it right. And the opportunity that is there, the whole country will benefit it. The only challenge we are having now is about the stock and the pricing. And why pricing is issue now, number one, the demand power of Nigerians is low.
Yes.
With the kind of high inflation, with the kind of all kind of economic changes that happened recently, you see the opportunity power is ridiculously low. People come into plan now, they fill 1 kg, 2 kg in 12.5 bottle. Yeah. That's what they can afford. And some could not even afford it at all. They end up with charcoal. Some going to wood log to cook. That the country is supposed to have grown beyond that. And we must have grown beyond that, and we must move how to improve that. By the time the economy re-energized, in terms of income redistribution, in terms of more opportunity and people having income, they should be able to do that. And before then the authority and the people in charge will also work on supply so that the gas will be available. It will be too dangerous when people are willing to buy and it's not available. So we need to work on supply of both the LPG and CNG and make it very reasonable and affordable for people.
I asked earlier how are your members faring this time. I don't know if you want to say something to them, to your members, because I know businessmen, many people get loans and all of that. And when the business is neither here nor there,
slowly is tough. It's tough, but we have confidence that Nigeria is going towards the right direction.
Wow.
We have confidence that it will be better, but currently it's tough. Working capital requirement has gone beyond imagination because price keep on changing. Few months back, 20 metric tons of gas that we used to buy for 6 million, 9 million, has gone to close to 12 million today. In some locations, slightly above it. You need working capital to be able to meet that. So the challenges are there. Cost of operation has gone up. We need to light our plants. The cost of AGU has gone up.
Everything. Almost 1,000.
Almost, yes. So all these are there, and the margin is coming down because you can't pass all these costs on to the last customer. They don't even have the capacity.
Yes.
How many Nigerians outside the big cities that can afford to buy 800 naira 1 kg of LPG to cook just small rice that family of 2 will eat? But we believe it's temporary. We are sure that the economy will improve.
Of course.
So when things get better, I think we will recover. But currently, to answer your question, it's tough for my member. We are only enduring it. A couple of members are saying they were saying, you want to sell their plants. I said, don't sell your plants. It's not going to be like this forever.
Of course.
Things will improve. Let's endure it. Immediately the purchasing power is increased, people will come to buy. You will see there's going to be an improvement in your trade. Let us endure this tough time, but tough time never lasts forever.
I must thank you so much. Interesting conversation as usual. Mr. Latubo Soladapo, he's the president, Nigerian Association, Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers, taking us through developments in this sector, expectations.